All right. Chris, are we recording? Did you record? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. Welcome into our fall 2025 graduate virtual open house at Loyola Marymount University through our School of Education. Today's session is for our programs for Catholic K through 12 school educators. We are delighted to have you here with us. My name is Anthony Mangar. I'm the Assistant Director for Recruitment in our School of Education. And I'm also a proud alumnus of the Play Score program, which is one of our teaching programs that we'll be talking about today. I've been in this role at LMU for about close to 3 years, and I taught in Catholic schools at Sacred Heart High School in Los Angeles for about 3 years, and then taught in Catholic schools in my home country in Belize before that. So thank you all for joining us and for your dedication to Catholic schools. It's great to have you here. Joined with me today is the program director for these programs, Dr. Christopher Aquino, and I'll go ahead and pass it on to him to introduce himself before we get into our session today.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Christopher Aquino. I am the Director of Catholic Teaching Programs at LMU. I've been in education for 15 years, both public and private. I am a product of Catholic schools, K through 12. That's why I am back in Catholic education, because it's something that I love to do. I am an alum of LMU's doctoral program, and what I love about the program is the dedication and the care and love the staff gives you, and Cast in Place does the same thing. So yeah, so enjoy, and yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aquino. So we'll go ahead and jump right into the formal part of this. We have a presentation slide deck, which we'll try to get through, and then we will reserve time at the end for specific questions where you can put it in the chat or unmute yourself to ask those questions. We kindly ask that you refrain from putting questions in the chat or asking during the presentation. This is the formal part. I'll try to get through it, and then we can go ahead with those questions. First in the chat, we like to engage with the folks and know where you are coming from. So if you feel called to, would you please put up in the chat where are you joining us from? What grade and subject level are you interested in teaching? And are you interested in place or cast? And if you don't know what those acronyms are, we'll talk about it a little bit through the session. So yeah, we'll give it about a minute or two to put it in the chat if you wish. Where are you joining us from? What grade and subject level are you interested in teaching? All right, I see in the chat, so Sausalito, California, high school, Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish School in Oxnard, multiple subjects, second grade. Los Angeles, teaching fourth grade CAST program, St. Rosa of Lima Catholic School, I know that school. Multi-age group, first and second, third grade special education, St. Francis de Sales in Sherman Oaks. We have Los Angeles, eighth grade CAST, joining from LA. St. Matthias, teaching ELA and religion, 5th through 8th. Fontana, we used to have a Play Score convent in Fontana at one point. We don't anymore. Teaching 7th grade ELA. Another St. Rosa of Lima, amazing kindergarten teacher, multi-age school. All right, you can keep those coming in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing. Like I said, we always like to know where our audience is coming from. And we'll go ahead and get right into it with our session. So who are we? A little bit of about our School of Education. We always say we're extraordinary educators and we form fearless trailblazers to go out into the field to ignite changes in their school communities. So those two statements kind of embodies our mission, which at the School of Ed, we have programs for teachers, for school leaders, and for mental health professionals. And we hope that you would ignite changes in your schools and communities to be able to foster a more just world, an inclusive world for all the students that you all in turn serve. So that's our mission. And what are some of our rankings, right? Like, why would you join our School of Education? What are some of the things that we're doing right? There are 27 Jesuit schools in the United States. We are ranked number 2 for our School of Education. We're also ranked the second private school of education in the state of California. We are ranked 7th for School of Education in the state of California. And this is when we're competing against all schools of education. So UCLA, USC, um, all those large schools. And then we're number 76 in the country, top 5% of more than 1,200 schools of education nationwide. So that's who we are as a School of Ed. Some of our unique qualities are the integration of clinical practice and coursework. What does this mean? So our programs, you learn the theory in your programs, but you're also full-time teachers in your own classroom. So all of your coursework that you're engaged in, you will be able to apply what you're learning directly at your school site on a weekly basis, right? And then we have clinical practice that supports you during your credential year. So once you go through this program, in the first 2 semesters, and even in your second year, you will be enrolled in a fieldwork course, provided a fieldwork support supervisor and a support supervisor on your campus, specifically your principal or someone in a leadership role who would support you during that first year as you're going through those fieldwork for your credential. So you have a myriad forms of support as you go through this program to ensure that you're learning, and then you're also applying that in your classroom, and you can be successful in attaining the credential in that first year. You're prepared to work with all learners, so this includes students with special needs in your general education classroom, which is something that Catholic school teachers already do, but through your coursework, there's a lot of focus on students with special needs and differentiating lesson plans and instructions to be able to meet the needs of all learners. Our program is hybrid online. What does that mean? We have synchronous and asynchronous sessions. So this program is not on campus. You're never in person on LMU's physical campus. You are on Zoom on Saturdays about half of the semester or a little more. And then the other half of the semester, you engage in asynchronous learning, such as discussion boards or papers that you would have to submit reflection papers on those Saturdays that you're not on a live Zoom call. And then we have faculty who are committed to blending theory and practice. Most of our faculty members are adjunct, and that's amazing for a teacher education program because they're currently teaching on a K-12 campus, or they're a principal or an assistant principal. And so they have real working knowledge of what's going on in the state of education right now and on K-12 school campuses. And they're able to bring that lived experience to the classroom to form their lessons as you're learning to be able to take that to your own classroom. All right. Some of the benefits of joining our School of Education programs, cast in place, you have small class sizes with about 15 to 25 students. So that lends itself into individualized attention by your professors. We have a community of care. And what this means is that from the point of initial contact for any of these programs, leading up all the way to graduation, we have people who are supportive of you throughout the program. For instance, we have caring admissions counselors. We have an amazing place and cast office led by Dr. Aquino, who's here on the Zoom call to get you through the program. We have academic advisors who ensure that you are set up for success every semester. And then we have caring faculty members who also understand that you're juggling full-time work along with full-time graduate school. So they'll be there to support you through all of that. Expert faculty practitioners, I touched on this a little bit before, in the sense that our faculty members are still currently teaching or working somehow in the field of K-12 education. So they have some knowledge of that and how that currently looks. Your fieldwork allows you to apply theory to practice in your school site. And like I said before, our programs have Saturday and evening classes. So this will be able to allow you to go through this program while also still attaining your full-time job as a Catholic school teacher. So we have two programs. We have Partners in Los Angeles Catholic Education, that's PlayScore. And then most of you are probably here for CAST, as I saw in the chat, that's Catholic Archdiocesan School Teachers. So PlayScore is more designed for the recent grad who's graduating from undergrad, and they're looking for a teaching job, but also wanting to live in communities and renovated convents on parish premises to go through this program. And it's kind of like a smaller program for recent grads. Catholic Archdiocesan School Teachers is for folks who are already teaching in a Catholic school and are looking to attain a teaching credential and or a master's in transformative education. I just went through this, so PlayScore, I'm not going to read through all of this, but mostly for those who are looking to just become a teacher, and has three pillars of professional development, community living, and faith formation. And then CAST, like I said, is for currently employed Catholic school teachers, and you receive a generous scholarship through that program. So what do we offer? When we say our 1+1 model, we say we do more and less. Your first year, you are attaining your teaching credential, which includes fieldwork that I spoke to, coursework that you're taking on Saturdays, and applying this directly to your classroom in order to acquire the teaching credential for the state of California. So if you're in an elementary multiple subject teaching credential, you are teaching kindergarten through 5th. You can be eligible if you're teaching 5 through 8, but you're teaching a few subjects, right? But middle school is typically the single subject teaching credential in a specific content area. That's usually for 6 through 8 if you're in a K through 8 setting, and then for high school teachers. In year 2, you add on 16 units to the credential and you graduate with a master's in transformative education and your preliminary teaching credential. In the master's program, in your second semester of your second year, you have the option to choose a concentration. So we have digital learning, disability studies and inclusive education, policy and administration, and language and culture. The language and culture concentration, you can walk away with kind of like a third thing I usually say, which is your bilingual authorization. So if you did want to get authorization in teaching Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, or Korean, in the master's program, you would choose language and culture as your concentration, and then you wouldn't have to do anything else, but just your academic advisor would help you to apply for the bilingual authorization. So you'd also be able to walk away with that certification under your belt if you choose language and culture. It's just kind of visual mapping of year 1. As I said, you earn your credential. Elementary credentials 18 units, secondary 16 units. And then year 2, you earn your master's degree, right? So you start the program in summer session 2 or spring. There's also a spring start forecast. And then it takes you a full 2-year cycle to complete the program. Subject matter competency. These are some of the California credential requirements. For the subject matter competency for the subject you'll be teaching, whether it's elementary or you're in a specified subject area for secondary, CSET exam is kind of the last thing we would send you to if your bachelor's degree for if you're in a multiple subject credential is in liberal studies or elementary education, or if you're in secondary and your bachelor's is in an approved subject matter, such as math or English, then you would not have to take the CSET exams. But the CSET exams is still kind of the last alternative. We can review your coursework at your request if you majored in a similarly approved major to see if you would meet subject matter competency, and then we would advise you if in the case you do not meet the subject matter competency, then you would have to sit those CSET exams. For the US Constitution, if you graduated from a Cal State for undergrad, check, you already meet that requirement. If not, there might be some coursework in US Constitution or some history coursework that would help you to meet that. If not, the alternative is a kind of easy online CTC online approved exam that you can just take at your own leisure and get the certification, and then you can submit that to us. And then your certificate of clearance, if you're already in a Catholic school, you would have a certificate of clearance, but that's again completed through CTC, the live scan, fingerprinting that the Archdiocese also does. That's required for you to teach. Your subject matter and US Constitution aren't required to be admitted to the program, but Dr. Aquino has guidelines once you're admitted in terms of when you need to get those completed to be able to get the credential within the first year. So what are the admissions requirements for this program? For our School of Education, we have an online, for LMU in general, we have an online graduate application that you'll fill out, which is the general application. And in there, you would list demographic information and then a personal statement of intent. There is directions in the application to respond to that personal statement. We do require an official transcript from a bachelor's degree, a regionally accredited institution. If you went to a community college and you know that you have, let's say, math courses to meet sections of the math multiple subjects credential, or if you're teaching mathematics at the secondary level and you want us to do a coursework review, it would also be great for you to get official transcripts from all your community colleges that you went to. And then letters of recommendation, current resume, and then an occasional interview. Then for the credential program requirements, these are completed once you are accepted to cast or place, like I mentioned before. Your certificate of clearance, your US Constitution, subject matter, and your EdTPAs are completed within that first year. Tuition and financial aid. So for this academic year, our tuition is $1,726 per unit. If you are in the CAST, Credential, single subject, and MA program, that's 35 units. So you would multiply that 1,726 per unit by 35. And then if you are in the elementary multiple subjects credential and the MA, that's 37 units. So you'd multiply that by 37. There are scholarships for the CAST program. You receive a generous scholarship for this program, somewhere equivalent to 50%. If Title II funding is still something that is available, that's kind of unsure right now. But if we do receive Title II funding on your behalf, you could get additional scholarships there, and that would be determined upon receipt of the Title II funding. We do have a financial aid open house session tonight if you wanted to explore what that looks like for taking out grad loans, grad plus loans. But our general first step is for you to complete the FAFSA application through our Graduate Financial Aid Office. Their contact info is right here on the slide. If you, for any scholarships, or financial aid that you would like to receive from LMU, the general first step is you must complete the FAFSA application so we can have that on file. Tonight we have a few more sessions. Like I said, at 6 p.m. we have the financial aid session. So if you registered for this open house, which you did because you're here, you would have received the links for financial aid. 6:30, our graduate students of LMU is like the undergraduate student union or student government. We have a graduate students of LMU who convenes during these open houses to talk about resources and ways to get involved in graduate student life at LMU. And then if you're an international student, there is a 7 p.m. session on how to navigate life as an international student and what resources are available to you. All right, that kind of brings us to the end of the formal part of this presentation. We do believe that every student deserves an extraordinary educator. So after the session, we invite you and hope that you would become a part of our LMU School of Ed family. These are all the contact folks and our contact information. Let's keep talking. This QR code would lead you to our website, and our email is soeteacherprep@lmu.edu for any admissions related questions. This is our website, soe.lmu.edu, and we do have Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, so you can follow us at LMU SOE. And this is our PlaceCast School of Ed support team listed here below, including myself and Dr. Aquino, and Erin Boyle is the graduate admissions counselor for the CAST program. So when you send an email to SOE Teacher Prep to find out more about this program or have specific questions, Erin Boyle would be the person responding directly to you. All right, anything else, Dr. Aquino? That kind of brings us to the end of the formal part. We would like to open up the room now for questions. Is there anyone on this call who's interested in PlayScore? Kindly put that in the chat or let me know. You can voice that out loud if you are interested in PlayScore. All right, there are a few folks on here who are interested in PlayScore. So we'll go ahead and do this. We had breakout rooms because the programs are slightly different. If you are interested in both, then just choose the one that you think is your top interest to join now, and then you can always follow up with more information. But I'll go ahead and open breakout rooms, and you can join those breakout rooms automatically, right? So you'll be able to go in and do it. If you're interested in PlayScore, you would be in breakout room number 1.